All right, here we are again, July 25th, 2012, HRM, Cesar St. Augustine de Buonaparte, presidential candidate for 2012, and actually motivator and suggester to the United States in consultation to the people to revolt. Take over the country, take your money out of the banks, stop buying so much gasoline. I mean revolt. You don't have to revolt the violent way. But anyway, you know, all right, there's a lot of people that, and I'm talking experts, that talk about, in speeches, they talk about how people's attention span is only like a few minutes when they're listening to a speech. So let me ask you some real heavy-duty contradictions, comparisons. How the heck do you explain the contradictory nature of the human mind, where in speeches, they get bored, and after a few minutes, I don't want to hear. But if they're listening to their favorite music, whether it's Latin people listening to Hispanic people listening to their Mexican music, which has a lot of it has the same beat all the time. There's different types, but the standard, it sounds like a polka, papa, and then there's a rap music, and people play that all the time, even to the point of booming their cars, where the car's booming going down the street with these huge speakers. And then there's rock and acid rock and heavy rock and punk rock, and so everybody picks their special music that they like, or classical music, or country western. And man, you don't have a short attention span on that. You listen to it until your brain can't take it no more. But you get somebody whose civil rights have been violated repeatedly over and over again like me, and you judge me and tell me I shouldn't judge all of you? You're the ones that are nuts. You really need your head examined, because if you really examine life, you'll see that life is full of nothing but pitfalls, and the human beings are behind all of it. Unfair laws, encroaching laws, color of law violations of people's civil rights, limits to time, when and how long you can sue someone for damages. Judges are cuckoo. They're all cuckoo. They never give the right amount of monies to people who've been damaged, like me. They're prejudiced. They let some book decide instead of common sense decide what the hell we're supposed to decide on and what really is fair. And I don't want to hear the crap from people that freedom is not free, or who says it has to be fair. I do. And anybody who really believes in freedom and liberty. And freedom is free. It's not for sale somewhere, or you have to work for freedom. That's the biggest load of hogwash bull crap I've ever heard. So here it is. Freedom with a person properly educated knows what their limits are. They know what's acceptable and what isn't. So when you're dealing with people like that, which is why I wanted to build my place in Colorado, out there just outside Salida, down Highway 17. But twice I was sabotaged by the city of Los Angeles, the county, the crappy, nosy neighbors, the lousy, inefficient legal system that lets lawyers charge $300 an hour. I mean, these people are cuckoo. They're nuts. And in all of this, you have this great technology, and you can go to send packages to Mars that go out and view another planet, and you land on the moon, and you do all that, regardless of the conspiracies that we didn't go to the moon, or that 9/11 was a conspiracy by the government, or that John F. Kennedy was killed by 3 people instead of 2, and that there were 2 Italian 6.5 Italian Carcanos involved in the assassination. I mean, every story, even movies made into it. Chris Christopherson was in one movie where that's exactly what it was. And at the end of the movie, you find out, he's holding the rifle up going, "Who the hell were you?" And, of course, you hold it up to Carcano. I said, "Oh, I know who that guy was." So anyway, but the point I'm making is that my life really has been encroached on. It has been destroyed. I have been financially raped over and over and over again. A woman getting raped, yeah, if she doesn't die, yeah, it's psychologically traumatic to take a person's body and do something with it without their permission. And yet, there are worse things than that. When you're struggling and you're poor and you're climbing the ladder of success and you're trying to build your own happiness, and for it to someone come along and say, we have a rule here, and you're in contrast with that rule, you're opposing, you're doing, and it's menial. It's menial to top it off. And instead of saying, what can we do to help, it's, I'm going to apply this to you and destroy your life. These people are nuts, cuckoo. So you deserve the Colorado shootings. You deserve the Congresswoman getting shot. You deserve all of that. And all you're going to do is make up new, inefficient, listen carefully, inefficient laws and regulations that don't work. Because if they did, none of this would be happening. None of those violent things would be happening. And maybe we could educate everyone properly. And maybe these things are possible. With all this technology, I would think that that's possible. But instead, you people attack people like me, reduce me to the street, reduce me to storages where I've had more than half of my stuff auctioned off because I didn't belong in those, and I knew I didn't belong. I had it all worked out. I had everything in vehicles. And so long as and I couldn't even find a place to put my vehicles. Because everybody wants a fortune just to park something somewhere. But I was attacked both on private property, commercial property, and on the street. And I said this in my other videos. My tires were slashed. My life was destroyed worse than any of those people in that Colorado theater. At least they're dead. I'm not. And I've told you before in my other tapes, I'd gladly just give my life away right now. Just take it and make those people all alive. But if you're going to do, if that kind of impossibility is possible, then I want every child that has ever been killed by friendly fire in Vietnam, Panama, Iraq, Afghanistan, I want them all brought back, reanimated, brought back completely to life. And I gladly give my life away. Don't care. Because you people have destroyed my life. You, the taxpayer. You, the crappy people driving your cars, smoking your cigarettes, using your cell phones, living your crappy lives, scurrying about in your pointless lives, because that's what it is, pointless. Pointless when you have all this technology and you don't have the wise leadership to be able to waltz right in and say, this is what we're going to do from now on. And I don't have to. I can stop all these wars. I can stop all the terrorism, too. Pretty much. I'd say more than 99% of it. But I ain't going to give my secrets away. It'll be another 100, maybe 200 years before you people ever figure it out. Remember what I said about mental giants? DNA is so complex and so vast that you don't know where the next mental giant's going to come from. How do you know until you give a person a chance? And with me, since you've done so much damages, it has to be, Simon says, absolute dictatorship. I mean, you've already got a dual dictatorship. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Who wants that kind of election? That's so much bull crap. I can't believe you people swallow that every 4 years and every 6 years in between. You're nuts. You're cuckoo. The whole process needs to be wiped out. It needed to be wiped out even during the Reagan era. That's all crazy. Reagan didn't do all that great for this country. Countries, if you put a graph up, countries go up and down all the time. They have good times, bad times. I think I said already the last time this country had an effective Congress was in the mid-'60s. So remember what I said. I can put a big nick in global warming. I can actually compensate for the icebergs that are melting, the Larsen ice shelf that surprised all the scientists that this warming is, and polar bears can't even survive now. They drown because they have to swim further in order to get to different ice packs and stuff. I mean, now, I know the answers to all of this, but you people have screwed me over so many times, and none of you listen to me. Like I said, you'd rather listen to pop art and rock music. You know, John Lennon was right. All that music, all that rock music, that's more popular than Christ or any kind of religion. It doesn't matter. And your religions aren't right either because they're full of hypocrisy and have done karmic bad things throughout its whole history. Religion's got bad karma. United States of America has bad karma. England, France, Germany, Europe, Asia, you all have bad karma. You've built up a bad karma slate, a rap sheet that is so embarrassing to any civilization or any creature that claims to be of high intelligence. You're sick, cuckoo, all of you. You don't even know how to manage your birth rates. You don't have a clue. I do. I know exactly what to do. And you don't have to hurt people to do it. I mean, people have to be willing to go along with it. They have to be willing to study it. They have to be willing to self-educate themselves to understand something if they don't understand it. It's like watching a movie over and over again until you understand it. So, instead, I'm dying slowly. Nobody cares. My property is encroached on over and over again. I've been forced to make decisions that weren't mine. And like I said, I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will. The hypocrisy, the contradiction in your human psychology is unbelievable. You know, the fighting and the wars never stops. Man just makes new laws to allow people to still encroach on others on the basis of color of law. Common sense-wise, it's a wrong thing to do that, but I'm going to do it because the law says I can do it. That's insanity. That's not fairness. That's not equality. That's not liberty. That's not justice. That's not love. And it certainly isn't compassion. And you people don't have a shred of it. Because if you did, you wouldn't have, remember that rap sheet I said the human race is built up? 7,700 years of wars and bits and pieces all over the world, and only less than 300 years of peace worldwide in bits and pieces, little tiny pieces here and there, time frames, little bits and pieces of time frames here, there, and everywhere. So that's a rap sheet that's embarrassing. If there were intelligent life forms and they did come here and visit, and I was one of them, I'd say, can I go, please? I don't want to even visit this place. This place is cuckoo. First of all, they procreate with their numbers so crazily, and then they spread themselves out in wacky ways. They're all wacko. You think Michael Jackson was a wacko? Wacko Jacko, they called him? Hell no. You people are crazier than all of the Jacksons put together, if they're crazy. And I don't think they're crazy, they're just protective. And so what? So what if they have their own opinion? They manage to formulate their money and keep it up, but I don't see one of them helping me. I don't see anybody handing me millions of dollars so I can get the hell out of this country. Because this isn't the place now that I would want to build my Shangri-La that I was going to build in Colorado, 60 miles southwest of Pueblo, where I owned 2 parcels, 2 different times, and I was sabotaged by the city of Los Angeles, by them interfering and encroaching in my private and personal life. No, I'm not the one who's crazy. You people are. And you're sadistic and evil, and not one of you in the last 3 years have tried to help me. My house at DeSoto and Hart, Canoga Park, was set on fire. Then the arsonists, they know who did it, but they couldn't arrest them because they didn't have enough evidence. While at the same time, they were harassing me because I had a lot of stuff in my yard. At least I had a fence around the house and people were limited to what they could see. But no, they wanted to destroy me. I wanted to try and buy the house. That was after them dozens of times. When I was in that house, that was after being abused for more than 20 years by the time I got to that house. Before that at Wilson's Canoga Feed. And before that at another address. And before that at another address. No. You're the ones that need your heads examined. And not by psychiatrists. You need to be wiped out, just like all those innocent children that have been wiped out in all your crappy wars over getting more gas, over being in control. If you don't believe me, go on YouTube here and go to Addicted to War. Oh, I can't get it out. Right. In Addicted to War, there's a comic book, and it shows the whole history of the United States. The founding fathers who actually encroached on the native peoples. This was all encroaching, illegal encroaching, and conning the native peoples into selling their land. That's a form of encroachment, because they were dealing with people that had limited education, whereas Europe was supposedly educated and civilized, but they never sat down with the Indians and told them, hey, you know, we maim and chop people's heads off too. We do that all the time. They didn't sit down and tell them their history, and I'm sure the native peoples didn't even care about their history. They were more interested in why were they wearing strange clothes and why did this and da-da-da. That's curiosity. So they took advantage of that curiosity. So no, you're the ones that are sick. The human species may have its problems, but now you've made it even worse. You've created a stealth-like encroachment on people like me. An encroachment to violate my life day by day, week by week, month by month, and nobody gives a hell about me. And when I say nobody gives a hell about me, I mean someone who's rich and powerful who goes, you know, we have destroyed this man. We owe him something. At least a free ticket out of the crappy country he doesn't like. But I'm not going to get that. You know why? Because it is a crappy country. Because you people are sick. You won't lift up the phone and try to get help for me. You know, in the last 25 years, I went to every church. Every time I had a problem with the city or they were harassing me, I went to churches to ask, can I park here? Can I put my stuff here? I thought a church was supposed to give people asylum. Hell with that. Oh no, we can't help you. One church actually tried to allow people to park their motorhomes and stuff in their parking lot. City came and said, that's illegal, you can't do that. And they actually made him get rid of all the people. And then the people went on the street and the police impounded their vehicles one at a time. It's a system of evil. And so long as it exists, you're going to have shootings like Colorado. It doesn't matter what his excuse is. You're going to have guys who weld themselves into bulldozers and tear down a whole town in Colorado. You're going to have people who take a semi and drive into the state capitol. I could list a whole history of the people who have lost control, or the guy who got in the tank and was running over stuff in San Diego before a CHP officer stood above him and filled him full of holes. Oh yeah, I remember all that stuff. That proves to me that you people are sick. Instead of helping people, you're sick. You don't care.